So, yes, we are here talking about manuals. So, as I said, I'm going to provide you with these manuals: APS 7, APS 6, MLA 9, and Harvard. Okay. And what I will say is that these manuals will help you understand what exactly you need, especially in some situations that you are unsure of what to do, like citing images and citing. We have You can cite images, and also you can use them when you are going to cite tables. As long as something is not yours and you're using it from the internet, you just have to give credibility, or rather, you have to recognize the people who initially made that piece of material or information, so that it did not constitute plagiarism. So, yeah, so we are proceeding where we left. So, the other thing I'm going to talk about is plagiarism, which, of course, I said it should be less than 3%. So, that plagiarism, I will tell you one thing, uh, and I'm going to list various plagiarism checkers here. And you guys, you know some of these. And the first plagiarism checker, of course, is Grammarly. And Grammarly can check plagiarism, but it's not that accurate as compared to one more vigorous one, which is Turnitin, and then as compared to even a more vigorous one, which is Copyscape. Okay, and then we have another one that is used especially during submission, which is known as a safer sign. Safer sign plagiarism checker. Now, the account that we're using, they usually use all of these, four of them. So your paper is going to be checked against Grammarly for plagiarism. It is also going to be checked against an 18 repository. Copyscape is basically it compares any online content. Okay, and if it finds matches, it's going to let you know. Safer sign is more so like Turnitin, but it's there to equal to. So the thing that I'm telling you is that at any instant, your plagiarism similarity index has to be less than 3%. So unless when you're having direct quotes, okay, like let's say Bible verses, something like that, that you're copying word by word, and these direct costs should not be more than 10% of your paper, okay? Because people are paid for original work rather than direct costs. So Copyscape has no similarity report, but it will give you links from where your items were found matching. And Copyscape is very thorough, especially in scanning online sources and similarity items. Okay, so your paper can be 0% in Turnitin, because Turnitin really looks at a Turnitin repository, but it can find a significant amount of plagiarism in Copyscape. Okay, so yeah, so either of these, make sure you maintain plagiarism to a low level. And then another thing that I said that constitutes plagiarism is basically something like not citing or under citations. If you don't use sources, and the information that you're providing is generally not common knowledge, then of course it will be assumed that you copied from somewhere, and you don't want to give credibility, or you don't want to give credit to the people who initially came up with the material. So now let me think of something else that I'm supposed to tell you guys. So plagiarism, something that it should not really worry you when it comes to plagiarism, is if you have a Turnitin report and it's giving you a high percentage, okay, or rather the plagiarism is found maybe, let's say, in the title page, or in the references, okay, or okay, these ones there is no issue with this, okay, but of course your abstract should not have plagiarism, isn't it? And your body should not have plagiarism. So these two, like the main paper sections, don't have plagiarism. But if it is on the title or the references, that one we can easily work with that. So Turnitin, okay, some orders. Okay, by the way, it is always good practice that if you're submitting work, you submit with a Grammarly report, one that has a Turnitin, no, one that has plagiarism checked with, and also submit with what is it called, Turnitin report, and make sure that your Turnitin report has a similarity index indicated, say 3%. Okay. So how to generate Grammarly report? There's a video in Mr. Academia on how you are supposed to generate a Turnitin report. No, not Turnitin report. Okay, Turnitin is also there, and also we have how to generate a report in Grammarly. Okay, generate report in Grammarly, and one that has a plagiarism checked on it. And that video, when you look at it, it's going to tell you the various sections, even the average sentence length. You're going to be shown in that video. All right. So the next section, then I'm going to talk about failure to follow instructions. Okay. Now, failure to follow instructions. This one is a very big issue. And normally people get a lot of problems when it comes to following instructions, not following instructions, that is. Of course, if you don't follow instructions, you will have created your own paper and answering your own questions. And so it comes to a situation whereby the client cannot use the paper that you've submitted. And what do you think happens in that case? In that case, there are two situations. Either your order will be returned for revision, or if it won't be returned for revision, the order can be retracted or rather reassigned. Okay? Or reassigned. In whichever case, for us, we are penalized. Okay? So we really expect you, before you accept an order, just get to know what you're supposed to do in that order. And before you write, like I said initially here when I was talking about paper ratios, make sure it's paper ratio. Make sure you come up with something known as an outline. So what exactly is this outline? Okay, an outline is a plan that you're going to have. Okay, so I just usually like calling it a plan. So an outline is basically a plan. Like you'll write, you say the introduction 10%, and the introduction I'm going to include a definition. I'm going to include this and this. Word count, you write. Then the body will say 4 paragraphs, each paragraph 120 words, and 4 paragraphs, each paragraph 120 words. Paragraph 1 will talk about this, paragraph 2 about this, paragraph 3 about that. Okay, then the conclusion here, I'll summarize and maybe take a stand on what exactly is my take on when it comes to this issue that I was discussing here. So basically that is it, and that is what usually happens. And this outline, it can either be paid. In fact, uh, we had cases where some clients usually ask for the outline before somebody begins an order, or before he accepts that you write that order. Okay, so the reason as to why a client might ask for an outline is to see if the plan that you're having in writing the paper is one that you want. Okay, and we usually prefer if a client can request an outline, because then you'll be sure what you're going to write is not going to be off topic. And so this one minimizes those issues of instructions. But unfortunately, most of the time, clients do not give people, or rather do not request you to for an outline. Okay, so there are two types of outlines. An outline can either be paid or not paid. Okay, and in this case, I want you to understand one thing, because the outline that is not paid is that outline which is just general, just like a rough copy. Okay, but sometimes you can have the client requesting an outline that is a little bit detailed and everything, and you realize that that one is supposed to be paid, and you're going to be paid for writing that outline. Okay, and that one is not an issue, because we usually take good care of that. And you understand, we as reviewers and we as managers, we usually take into account what you guys are going through, and we'll tell you whether the outline is paid or not paid. Now, these outlines, I'll just talk about an outline a little bit. The outline usually comes in two ways. So we have that simple outline, the one that I told you is free. Okay, and then we have the complex outline or sentence outlines. It's called data complex sentence outline. Now, this one is a little bit detailed, and it is it is generally paid. The complex outline is paid. Okay, and here you prove, you do everything. And one, okay, for me, I don't write without an outline, because the outline is the one that will tell me how many words I'm going to allocate somewhere, how many words I'm going to do this, and what exactly I'm going to cover on a particular paragraph, blah 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 blah. So for me, when I write with an outline, it reduces my issue of quality concern. Okay, so I've talked about plagiarism and all that, and how to avoid going off topic is by use of outlines and all those things. Huh? So it's not always the case that outlines will be paid. Sometimes it may not be paid. And then now I'll talk about progress. Okay, so progress, this one generally is not paid. If you're told submit progress on your work, this one you just submit where you've reached, and funny enough, I came to realize that even if it's a progress, make sure you formatted it. Make sure you format it well, okay? Format it well. Otherwise, uh, in I came to realize that for progress that is not well formatted, I was penalized, okay? And I realized late. So I wanted you guys to know, even if it is progress you're submitting, make sure you just check and it has proper formatting and whatever, because the progress, probably the client will see it and they will see how you've arranged your work, and if they see that your work is good, then they'll be happy about it. Okay, and in most cases, if you have an outline and a progress, you can just send both of them. There's no issue. We can send the client the outline and the progress where we've reached, so that everything is okay. So progress, we usually name that progress as a draft, so that they know that this is not the final work that you are going to submit. Okay, yeah. So the other name of that progress is a draft. So the thing is, uh, this thing of progress and drafts and everything, when you are requested, just please submit it immediately. Okay, you submit it immediately. And in some situations, uh, there's some situations that I'm going to talk about here that will probably open an eye to you. Because one thing I'll tell you, sometimes you might be doing work, you might have accepted an order at uh, at 10, okay, 10 a.m. And you are doing the work from 10 a.m. and the client cancels the order at 10:30. Okay, so the cancel request is at 10:30. So when the cancel request is at 10:30, and assuming you've written one page, uh, and since the client is the one who has cancelled it, you have a right to claim for this one page. Okay, so you'll be compensated for one page before even anything happens. So you will be compensated even if the client won't use your work. So it is always good, if the order, you're told that the order has been cancelled, submit what you've done, okay, so that it's submitted and you are compensated for it. So maybe it could have been a 10-page document, but then it was cancelled, and let's say you have already done one page, so you'll be paid for that one page. And that's why sometimes you can take a paper that has a very long deadline, okay, and procrastinate and say you're not going to start it now, only to start it later when you're told the order has been cancelled and you have nothing to submit. So in that case, the orders be cancelled and the client does not incur any charges, because you had no paper. So, but let's say if you had already done the entire 10 pages, and the client cancels that order, then you're going to be compensated for the entire 10 pages. All right. So instructions. So I'll say the outlines. We have two types of outlines: simple outlines, complex outlines. I've talked about that. And then for the progress, I say this one, progress is usually not paid, and it should be submitted anytime when requested. Otherwise, the order can be fined, because the thing, if you do not submit progress, the order can be fined. Okay, let me talk about instructions. So read all order instructions and details and follow all of them. Okay, always pick the most detailed instructions and leave the general ones. So, as you guys have seen, sometimes you see that we have that table that we send that has order details, blah, 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 CPP, whatever. And down here we have instructions. And then you realize that the instructions here, are a little bit general. Okay, when you open the order files, let's say it's a Word document, you realize that we have more specific instructions inside that Word document. So of course, while these instructions here are important, these ones are the ones that should be followed to the latter, because they're a little bit specific and less general. All right. So always pick the most detailed instructions, okay? And read all instructions. And if at all there are multiple instructions, seek clarifications. If you have instructions that are really opposite to one another, okay? Or in some situations, just follow the instructions and answer all of them, okay? So be specific, and especially when it comes to instructions, just make sure you follow the instructions to the letter. Answer the question prompt um, openly, and let the solution be so obvious to the reader when they read it. Okay. So once an order is accepted, prices cannot be reviewed. Of course, if you accept an order, you cannot review the price. The only time you can have a review of price, you can only bargain if maybe the order has not been started. But one thing I'll tell you, we have orders that come already paid, and some orders they are still being bid. But while those orders are still on bidding, the CPP is normally the same. So PowerPoints may be paid less compared to normal orders or normal projects. Reasons, because sometimes fewer words per slide. 121 pages, 120 words. Okay. If it has speaker notes, then it's going to be paid normally. Okay. So working in parts, sometimes you can have an order that is paid in parts. So you can have something like a dissertation. I'm just going to give you an example. Here's a dissertation, and you know dissertation has chapters, okay? So chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. And maybe let's say it's going up to 5 chapters. And maybe this is an introduction. We have introduction, literature review, methodology, results and analysis, and a conclusion, isn't it? So maybe the client wants you to do the introduction alone, and then so you'll do the introduction. So the total work that this client wants you to do sums up to 25 pages. Okay, just right there, 25 pages. So for those 25 pages, he wants you to start with one page introduction, and then so this one he will pay a CPP of, let's say, 300 here. So you do one page submit. Okay. In this case, do not proceed to the next section until you are told to do so. Okay. Because I've had some situations whereby a writer just went ahead and did the entire thing, and maybe the client didn't want these other chapters to be done because he wanted to do them themselves. So please only proceed when you are told to do so. So these ones, the ones that I'm talking about here, orders that are going to be done in sections. These orders that are supposed to be working in parts don't work until you're told to do so, and be sure that you're comfortable to do the order, and be sure that you're okay with paid in installments. Okay, installments is just for the work that you've done. Okay, so any work that is not completed properly is usually going to be fined. Okay, so we are fined if the work is not completed properly, especially when it comes to instructions. Okay, so if you write something that is off topic, generally, it's a big problem to us. Okay, and right now we will be telling you people, and if it's not going to be fined, the money can be put on hold until maybe after 10 days. Then they see if there are any claims. If there are no claims, you are going to be paid. So the deadlines. Let me talk about deadlines. I had an issue with only. I had only one issue with deadline, and it's from someone that I really trusted. And right now, even the guy, he was really requesting me to accept them back, but it's an issue. It has become very difficult. Okay, so deadlines, just meet deadlines properly, and everything will be okay. And of course, you can imagine. an order that has a little time or less deadline is going to be paid better. But you'll always be told if the order is urgent or not. So let me just then in the next section, let me just talk about revision, because I want to clarify some few things here. Revision. So we have two types of revisions. We have a paid revision and we have unpaid revision. Okay, and the difference is just clear. Unpaid revision is that revision that you yourself did not follow instructions. Okay, so if you do not follow the initial instructions, you are required by the company to do uncountable revisions until the paper meets the requirements of the client. And if you are unable to do revision, that paper is going to be cancelled, to be reassigned to another writer. And of course, for us, if that happens, we usually incur some fine. So please, if we ask you to do revision, just do the revisions and everything and everything. But there's no need for you even for your order to come to revision. If you can be writing good outlines and arrange your work well, the quality of your work will be just epic, okay? And everything will be okay. So there's no need for you to do this unpaid revision and waste your time and fill our dashboard, because if you have a lot of work on revision on my desk, then no more work. You can have some writers being idle, okay? Paid revision, this one usually occurs if the instructions, or rather the revision comes with an instruction that is different from those instructions that were given before. Okay, so if, for example, the client comes up with a different instruction from the one that was there initially, that one you really have to be paid for that one. So for me, you, and whoever who is concerned with this work, we should always communicate and see either and distinguish between paid revision and unpaid revision. And you can always call me and ask me whether it's paid revision or unpaid revision. And mostly, if it's paid revision, you can be told to add one page. The CPP is the same, so that way. So not all revisions are unpaid. That is what I wanted to say. And revisions that come, if it was an instruction revision or a quality revision, or not an instruction but something you left out, when it comes after 10 days revision, this one also you are allowed to request for compensation. Okay, because normally after 10 days that order is assumed to have been closed completely. Okay, so always you are supposed to do that revision and confirm it and do it properly. And in my situations, in most cases, as much as you have a revision, we are usually fined, but that is not an issue. The issue is being fined for revision twice, like on the same order. Like with if I have order A and I submit it, the first revision is order A prime, and the second revision is order A double prime. So I'll just say, if the client sees this original paper and says no, adds more instructions, and you do the paper and submit it as order A prime, this order A prime should not fail. There's no chance for this order to fail. So you do all things possible so that this order that you submit next does not fail. Otherwise, things might be difficult for all of us. Because if you submit order A prime, things might have worsened, and fines will be grave. So that's why I'm saying you guys have to follow those instructions as they are. All right. So the only thing that I told you is about some levels that usually will limit you. So as I said, is the new writer level, and new writer level, and another level that will limit you is probation. So probation, any writer that does not follow instructions, or their papers have wanting quality, uh, will not be allowed to proceed to end up messing up the account, because the account, several people are using the account, including me. My family is even benefiting from there, and You guys, some of you are even married and you have partners. Some of you are students, so you get pocket money from there. So it is all our collective responsibility to protect the account. So if this is the account, we have to ensure that there is no plagiarism. We have to ensure that all our works are uniform. We have to ensure that grammar and mechanics, okay? Grammar, mechanics, so we don't have tautology, we don't have anything, and our language is just neo. We have to ensure that we have good citations. We have to ensure that everything is just in order, so this account can remain healthy. And when this account becomes healthy, anything healthy usually gives birth to a baby. Okay, so it can have a small account here, and this comes with an advantage, more jobs and everything, and you can even get bonuses once everything is going on well for some time. So for you, if you are not that participatory into maintaining the health of the account, then you can easily be cut out, my friend. I won't lie to you. Things are strict nowadays. These accounts, an account nowadays, the current price is 300,000, and it's continued to rise. I don't understand why, but I think it's because of this thing known as Corona. Okay, so Corona has brought a lot of things. Nowadays, things are becoming difficult, and one thing I'll tell you, in any situation that the risks are high, then of course the rules are going to be tighter. Okay, so the higher the risk, the stringent are the rules. So there must be a balance, risk and the rules. So right now I'm even taking this time to make this video, knowing that some guys will not look at it, and they'll come to mess up here, and I will be able to identify them within the least time possible and tell them I'm sorry, but we cannot proceed working with you. So, okay, to ensure that the company does not incur losses, uh, they usually have some fine policies. For us, you guys, I want you guys to start feeling what you are feeling. And for us, we're not going to fine you, but we'll just put you bench, okay? But there's no need for you to be on the bench if you're a good writer, or if you can follow these instructions or my guidances, the ones that I'm providing here right now. So, what you do is that formatting has fines, okay? So you can be fined based on formatting. You can be fined based on plagiarism. You can be fined due to lateness. You can be fined due to several things, and I'll keep on telling you what to do, okay? And for these fines, you guys need to really avoid any form of fining or anything, because if at all we are here buying an account and all you are making is losses in the name of fines, then we really cannot proceed with you. Okay, and now I want to tell you the difference between a review, okay, and a proofreading, because I've realized one thing. There's a thing I noticed, like guys do not completely proofread their work. Now, there's a video that has been made in East Academia still for proofreading your work. So in that video, you're going to be shown how to proofread. If you want, you can check it, and it's going to show you how you can use just a software, just proofreading with your own computer, to see what you've written, how it makes sense, whether it flows or not, or something like that. Now, the difference between proofreading, this one is done by a reviewer, and proofreading is done by a writer. Okay? Now, proofreading, you are supposed to move obvious mistakes. Only obvious mistakes will be identified here. But reviewing, this one will just for me to ascertain, not for me to edit and correct you, okay? It's for me to ascertain that what you've done is okay. All right? So if you think I'm here to proofread your work, my friend, I will put you on probation. Or rather, still, I can terminate our agreement. Okay? Because that means you'll be giving me a lot of work. I can't invest a lot of money, energy, and everything. And even now, while I'm doing this video, you still waste me by just not proofreading your work. and submitting work that you want me to proofread for you. If I see obvious mistakes, I'll put you on probation and I'll send you a report, and I'll tell you why I'm putting you on probation, because we will not be proceeding that way. You cannot just do things that way. Because even last time I had an order where somebody just forgot to put a full stop at the end of a sentence. Okay. Instead of union, somebody wrote onions. Okay. So clearly that work has not been proofread. When you look at the paper ratio of that paper already, you see that the client, okay, the writer had written one paragraph, very long, one idea, took a lot of time, spent a lot of time in one idea, and denied the other ideas, okay? The ones that they're supposed to talk about, any chance to be talked about. So you can have a paper that looks like this. Let me just show you. You have a paper that already, the introduction is one page. You have the first paragraph. So introduction alicover one page introduction. Ikakuja, then let's say this is page 2. Flow up to somewhere here. And then second paragraph, there, kaishia hapo. Third paragraph, ikaja kaishia hapa. And then no conclusion. In fact, it was hanging. I remember that day. So I told this guy, this paper, we really cannot submit this paper. Why? Because the paper ratio is an issue. Okay? Paper ratio is an issue. How can you have a conclusion of more than one page? No, an introduction of more than one page. Because the first paragraph is usually assumed to be an introductory paragraph. So you cannot have an introduction for one page. Okay? So I will start to be looking at how you guys are writing. If you write with the wrong paper ratio, I will probably tell you to revise it before you submit it. So if you want to waste your time, you can waste your time, because I'll send that work back. I won't submit work and risk these things. Because for me, what I've gone through these last few weeks, it was a challenging. Na najua mambo ikiwa ngumu, mimi sitakudanganya now. Let's get back to a little bit of stories, because you see, like for me, it's not all about the thing that is here. Acha niwaambie, if at all this account is closed and everything is not going well, now you can even consider other sources of coming up with and generating income, including opening a YouTube channel. Okay, you can even open. Let me just tell you my experience. You can open a YouTube channel, or maybe you can start listening to the radios. In the morning, you hear those guys in the radio telling you, "Tambua sauti," isn't it? Then you hear something like "kakaeka," and you're told, "Tambua sauti," isn't it? You try and you're told, if you tambua the sauti properly, you're going to get 60,000. So you keep on sending messages, calling, nini, everything, and you hear just somebody from somewhere in the background amepiga simu yake imeshikwa, na anaulizwa hiyo sauti ni ya mnyama gani. Yeye anaulizwa umesema sauti ni gani? Anaambiwa kakaeka. Sasa okay, anasema hiyo ni sauti ya kisiagi. Unaona? Then you even wonder, huku nje there are so many fools bana. Let me show them that I went to school. So you keep on calling, but then you realize anytime you keep on calling, huwa wanakata ile pesa yako. Like ikipiga tu na iende line busy, what 10 bob, 20 bob, nini hivyo zinakatika tu. Unaona? And later on, then you hear somebody calling again, the same person, anaambia hapana, hiyo si sauti ya kisiagi, unaweza jaribu tena. Useme ati alafu apewe even more clues, ambiwe okay, huyo mnyama ako na miguu miwili na alitumika kwa kumkana Yesu. So huyo ni mnyama gani? Ati umesema ako na miguu miwili? Ako na miguu miwili. Huyo ni mbuzi mwenye amesimama. No. So surely, like, you can resolve to those things if things are difficult. You can open a YouTube channel, start staying focused a little bit, upotee nini. So there's no need for that. So let us all protect this account. Okay, so that's why I'm saying when it comes to issues of plagiarism, it comes to issues of plagiarism, when it comes to these issues of paper quality, we really need to up our game so that we can stay in this business for quite a long time. Now, yeah, I'll still proceed. And the thing is, one thing that I'm going to talk about now is something about is this thing that I'm going to talk about. Let me think of something. Direct cost. I said direct cost should not be more than 10% or even 7% of your paper, unless that's otherwise specified. Okay, so make sure to provide citation for both direct quotes and paraphrased content. Okay, like Bible quotes to inform us something, and always tell us why. And do not use Wikipedia or other anonymous articles to do your citations. If you refuse to remove plagiarism, the order will can be reassigned and cancelled. So if you are requested to reduce plagiarism, but there's no need for you to be requested because I've already told you the body should have less than 3% of the similarity index. And this one is excluding the, we do not worry about the plagiarism that is in the cover page and the plagiarism that is on the references, okay? So let me look something else so that I see if I can remember something else. For me, I'm just talking out of my head, so that's why you see there's no, I don't have any order. Okay. So word count, as I said, always have the word count, and don't write words that are less. Always write more, but let them not be more than 10%. Okay. So sources, use as many sources as possible. All right. And I said you do not use a repetition. Sentences only use sentences that are important or rather carry a message or rather contribute to the to whatever you're writing about. Okay. Instructions you write disputable orders. Now, the thing is, one thing I'll want to emphasize is that in WriteALL academics and the accounts that we're using, the customer is not always right. Okay. But what I'm trying to tell you is that as much as the client is not always right, you are supposed to communicate effectively, okay? And you use, you should be having etiquette and respect. Use a proper language, okay? And if you think kama unaona umefinyiliwa sana, you can talk and you can be assisted, okay? Because we are here not to make life difficult for you, but to make life easy for you and for all of us. And if any case you have a dispute in certain order, you can raise that dispute. And when you raise that dispute, we'll definitely look into it and you can contact the admins and they're going to contact and it's going to be taken to a dispute situation and will be compensated if you're right. But the only time when you can be compensated with a dispute for an order, be sure that that order, you've really followed everything. Okay? Because a very small mistake, the client can say, I cannot use this order because first the paper is undercited. I cannot use it because the paper ratio is so outrageous, isn't it? I cannot use this paper because it didn't meet the word count. I cannot use paper because my self-assigned plagiarism report says that it has 15%. It has been 15% plagiarized. So those things, or I cannot use it because the grammar is too, the grammar and mechanics have a lot of issues. Okay, so those are the things that I wanted to tell you. Now, an order when you receive an order, be sure to check and be sure that you can handle that order, because we don't expect you to say I cannot do it after some time. Once you accept that order, just do it. Okay. And be sure you've read the instructions and the order requirements, and be sure that you can handle it before you can accept that order. Okay. So emergencies occur, I understand. Emergencies occur, but be sure that your emergency does not lead us into a financial loss. That is the only thing that I can really pray for you. Okay, you can have an emergency if it occurs, but if it is within reasonable time that that order can be reassigned to another writer, it is okay. There's no problem. So, what kind of situations are these that I'm trying to address here in terms of emergency? If an order has a deadline for more than 24 hours, if you have an emergency and you communicate it, and still here we have let's say 20 more hours, that one is okay, we can accept. But when this order changes and becomes an urgent order and you tell us that now you have an emergency, now it's going to bring us financial implications that we might not be happy about. So always talk and you realize what you are doing. And in an emergency for urgent orders might be very difficult, okay? Might be very difficult. And I don't know what you do, because if you have a computer that is a desktop, okay, a computer that is a desktop, meaning stima ikipotea hiyo nayo nazima, okay. I don't know, you just have to have a battery bank that a good battery can take you to 3 hours, okay. And then of course you can hotspot, so you must have a smartphone to do some hotspotting, okay, to do some hotspotting. So in that case, hata stima ikipotea, you're just okay and you can communicate and send a progress. But sometimes hata hizi 3 hours zinaisha and KPLC have not done anything. So what do? It is only possible to assist somebody or to request another writer. Let's say you've done three, it was a 5-page document and you've already done 3. Okay. And let's say you had an outline, that outline you did A, B, C, D, 3, okay, and now you've covered the outline here until here. So if you send another writer this outline and tell them that they're supposed to continue with these ones only, okay, and you have the outline and you give them the 3 pages, they can easily add for you the 2 pages, okay. So this outline, as much as it's not important, it is important. All right, because these situations do happen, okay, and you can communicate with another writer, you can request me, or even you yourself, you look for another writer and tell them what to do in this situation, okay. You can tell them, I've already done 3 paragraphs, the last 2 paragraphs I wanted to do this and this and this, so you can proceed. It is also a situation, and that's why these outlines are very important. Mhm. Okay, so let me see if there's something else I can remember. Um, yeah, I had a situation whereby the customer revised a deadline. Okay, so if the customer revises a deadline, it maybe it becomes too urgent, you can request for more payment. Okay, you can request for additional payment. That is it. So always remember that you can request for additional payment when that deadline is revised. And that is not to say that you should stay with an order for long. If you stay with an order for long, first, you will not get more orders, okay? More orders. Second, the account here won't make enough money because you are stagnating the account, okay? Number 3, you cannot be given 2 orders at a go. So it's until you finish one, do pay ingine, so submit nini. Number 2, you'll be blocking other people who want to take orders, okay? So you'll be causing some blockage, something of that kind. So once you get an order, work on it immediately. The client can request progress at any given time. Even one hour after you've accepted the order, the client can request that progress. So assuming if you are not working on that order, you can imagine how stressful it will be for you to get that work done. And one thing I'll tell you, we're all human beings, and but there's some situations. Some of you can go through situations in life, okay, because you're all humans, and just right here, because just for emphasis, you're not aliens, you're humans, and humans. In life you have a lot of stressors, okay? You have a lot of stressors. Hadi unaweza achwa na dem, ama if you're a lady unaweza achwa hata na chali yako, and it puts you in a situation that you are not mentally capable to do any writing tasks, okay, until after a certain time, of which you can't even be sure. You will tell us. So in this situation, just be open to us. You don't need to tell us your private issues, okay? So your private issues, those are not our concern. But if you can just communicate to us and tell us maybe something has happened and right now you are incapable to write for some time, we will understand you, okay? So we shall understand that something has happened, and because of this and this, we cannot, and we won't disturb you with phone calls to request you to see, maybe to ask you, are you available for the order? Are you available for what? So we want to give you that peace of mind, okay? And we also see how we can do things, and we are all human beings. So be open, and everything will be okay. So let me see if there are things that I left out, because for me, I'm talking and I don't even have any plan. But I hope whatever I'm talking about here is very important, okay? So we talked about the length of sentences, 15 to 20 words, tautology. Avoid that one. And then also avoid a lot of spoken English. Kuna kizungu ingine watu usually speak here in Kenya. And this English, we really think it is appropriate English, but it is not. Okay, so we'll try to avoid it, and then also avoid using contractions. Contractions like can't, don't write can't, don't use these. Okay, always use cannot. Use do not, did not. Don't write didn't. I think the only construction I the only situation that you can use construction is by showing possession. Okay, this one I think is allowed. Like you can say, my father's car. Let me just write here. My father's car. I don't think there's an issue with this, but these ones, do not use them. So even while you are proofreading your work, just see if you have used these contractions. In fact, the review report will tell you to check contractions, those contractions. And then there's another issue that I'm seeing with guys. We have some guys who usually use this thing, which is not equal to this one, okay? Basically, but is equals to I am. It's a contraction, okay? So still, I will tell you one thing. Try to avoid this contraction. Use this one. This one is somewhat informal, okay? And then, at any given point, do not confuse these two. You can only use when you're asking a question. Am I a boy? Something of that kind. If, for example, you are 3 months old and you don't know your gender, you can ask, am I a boy? Okay. Am I? So otherwise, don't use this to mean, don't use this to mean this, because it's a situation that I've seen for very many people. And then there's a guy who likes using generally. Instead of generally, this person says general. So, especially when they are doing the conclusion. And I've highlighted it in the review report several times, but I think my friend does not want to address it. So, I see it wise addressing it here, because some of you people, even other managers of accounts in this WriteALL academics, might be experiencing it. So, you can only just say generally, McDonaldization is this, or say in general. So avoid that word saying general. General, what. General, general, I think is I don't know what part of speech is that. This thing is general. It's an adjective, isn't it? But generally, it's rather trying to give you that aspect of normally iko hivi na hivi kama kwa kawaida, okay, lakini general ulisema it's not specific, okay, it's not specific, but this one ni kwa kawaida. So even if you do the direct translation, you realize that these two things, they don't mean the same, all right, because this one ni kwa kawaida, this one means kwa kawaida, this one means kwa kawaida, but hii inamaanisha general, yani general, don't know, not good in Kiswahili anyway. Aya, okay, so just avoid too many obvious errors, okay. When I see you are writing, you're proofreading your work, and you are submitting work with a lot of obvious errors, I told you now there's something known as probation, and you'll be told. So do not have that probation. Let these reviewers do what is known as review. Let them not do what is known as proofreading. And I've given a very big difference between reviewing and proofreading, okay? So by the time you proofread your work and submit it, make sure it is customer ready. So make sure you are submitting customer ready papers, okay? Because if you do not submit any customer ready papers, then that will give reviewers work, and which is not the work for the reviewers to do some work. So revision, just minimize revision. And as I said, there is paid and unpaid revision. So remember that. Grammarly and Turnitin. So every individual is going to be given Grammarly and Turnitin. Okay. So Grammarly and 2 is Turnitin. So for me right now, I'm the only person who can access these accounts, Grammarly and Turnitin. So you're only sharing these accounts with me. So if you see my work in that place, that shared account, do not delete it. All right. And same thing, if I see your work, I won't delete it. But this aspect of having one Grammarly that we're not sharing with anyone is a very good thing. Okay, so you can get Grammarly from WriteALL Academics. You can get Grammarly for East Academia. You can get Turnitin for East Academia Canvas. You can get WriteALL 2. You can get Grammarly from WriteALL 2. Whichever email that you're going to give you, but they are mostly all of the emails that you're going to generate, they are company emails. Okay, but in this case you'll have your own. Okay, and tukirealize maybe wewe unasumbua, definitely we will take you out of Grammarly and Turnitin, because we don't want you to be using our Grammarly and Turnitin if you're not working for us, or otherwise you might even do things that we do not want you guys to be doing. Okay, so let me see something else. So now this one will minimize that it has been expensive to implement all this. And that's why it has taken me time, because I wanted to come out with a structure that is properly structured and one that minimizes errors. So I'll tell you, Grammarly is very expensive, but it is not as expensive as losing an account and wasting your time doing nothing. Okay, because for me, I didn't have time. And sometimes I could listen to a radio while I was walking, and I get those people wa kusema tambua sauti, and I try only to end up wasting more money and getting even more frustrated and hating myself and everything. Good thing for me, I do not attribute these failures to anyone. Okay, so till now sina grudge na mtu. Kazi yako, if your work was found in Cause Hero, I've no grudges with you. Okay, but now after all these things that I've put in place right now, if I find your work in Cause Hero, if I find your paper ratio is an issue, so Cause Hero, if I find your paper ratio is an issue, if I find that you're doing your work without following our guidance or whatever I've advised you guys here, then I think now we will be tutakuwa tunatafutiana maisha, But uzuri for me, I can always mitigate all those issues. Okay, I can mitigate all those issues by just putting you either on probation or to tell you no, you can stay away. Okay, because I can't risk. The risk is too high, and for me, I've gone through a lifetime. Okay, siku hata nimezoea kufanya hivyo venye nimekuwa nikifanya, but you know me, you guys know me. For those who have worked with me, they know I'm a person who understands situation, and I'm a person who loves being with you people, and we can even communicate. Some of you have even called me, asking me to assist them, confirming how they've interpreted the order instructions, if it's okay or not, and they'll usually offer assistance. Okay, but when you call me, okay, when you call me, be sure you know what you are doing. Okay, you must have a plan before you call me. You don't call me to see. You don't call me for me to give you a plan. You can call me for me to just at least shed some light and assist you up and pale nini, because basically you're doing the writing thing. And writing, it's all about thinking, writing, submitting, formatting. I usually tell my students, those of you who have been with you in East Academia as trainees, I usually tell my student, you can cook, okay? I usually use this analogy. You can cook this food, and this, let me say it's pilau, okay? And if this pilau, you can cook it and it becomes good, and pilau, generally pilau is sweet, and unajua kupika na kila kitu na kufanya. Now, that cooking is analogous to writing, okay? Right, you have a good plan, you have a good introduction, 10% of word count, you have a good conclusion, 10% of word count, your body has paragraphs, you have a thesis statement in the introduction, you have topic sentences in each paragraph, okay? All those college level writing mechanics. And then you are answering the prompt properly, okay? You've not deviated from the topic, okay? That is the cooking, okay? But when you cook, you have to serve it in a good plate, okay? You serve it in a good plate. What happens when you cook good food and serve it in a bad plate? When you cook good food and serve it in a bad plate, hiyo chakula haitapendeza the person you're serving. It will really not be appealing, okay? So now serving that food now is you formatting your document. Okay, formatting your document. So when you format now, you're serving the food in a good plate. Okay, and then proofreading will be checking. Proofreading, when you proofread your document, will be checking if zile viungo umeka sawasawa, mafuta umeka kutosha, chumvi umeka ya kutosha, isn't it? Like when you proofread, you can realize you've put a lot of salt somewhere and you need to salt it down, to water it down. What do? You can add something like a carrot so that that salt is absorbed, because you know salt is ions and all that. And so when you're proofreading, you will know which places you have to adjust your food, okay? But if you do not proofread, you can serve food thinking that it is nice, only to realize that it has been brought back for revision, it has not been accepted, everything is not good, okay? Why? Because you do not proofread. Like another thing, I think I gave you I've given you an example whereby instead of union, somebody wrote onions. These are obvious mistakes that can be avoided if you proofread your work. So proofreading will give you that aspect of knowing which place to adjust. And there's a video to teach you how to proofread. Proofreading is easy because hata kusomewa utasomewa na computer, you're not going to read. Kazi yako ni kuketi tu na kusikiza, even if it is a 10-page document. Computers can read for you that proofreading within a minimal time. All right. So another thing that I'm going to talk about is the use of abbreviations, because I've seen abbreviations is an issue, and I'm saying this because we want to have standard way of writing. Okay. Like if you say numbers that less than 10 numbers, less than 10, they're supposed to be written out, not be put as numericals. So you should not write 4 like this. Instead, you should write 4. Okay? Unless when it's beginning a paragraph, and we'll see what happens. Okay? Like 10 should not be written this, but it should be written as 10. 11, it should be written as 11. But when you're beginning a paragraph, all numbers have to be written out. So whether you're beginning a paragraph or not, 4 is written as 4. 10 or 11, you should not write 11 in the beginning of a paragraph. You should write 11 this way, not as numbers. So abbreviation, I'm going to talk about abbreviations, and I'm going to even show you a review report emphasizing on why this abbreviation is important, because this one is an issue and some guys usually end up doing other things. So there are some words that can easily be abbreviated, like a human resource manager. The human resource management team said that, so instead of said you can use insisted that. Okay, said does not add meaning to whatever you're writing, isn't it? The human resource management team insisted that we hire additional staff. Now, the human resource management, normally, this one, because it can be put in an acronym, you have to capitalize each word. Like human resource management should be capitalized in each word. Okay, so here the right way to write it is human resource management, capital M. Okay, and then because we've capitalized each word, you should bracket after capitalizing each word, and you write HRM, something of that kind. Now you are writing that abbreviation, okay? HRM. So the human resource management, HRM, team insisted blah, 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 Evo. Okay, you're getting me now? And if now the subsequent paragraphs, or anytime you want to mention human resource management, you use that abbreviation. The HRM advised the clients to do this and this. The HRM. Because I had an instance whereby a guy in the first paragraph, he just said HRM from somewhere without even telling us, without even having this instance of writing human resource management mara kwanza and then into brackets HRM, so that the reader will always know anytime HRM appears, it refers to human resource management. So don't write HRM without first explaining what that HRM is. And how do you do that? You write it in full and then you bracket it. Then subsequently use HRM without, and there'll be no need of writing it in full. And in fact, don't write it in full. Just use HRM, the initials, or rather these acronyms. Okay. And yeah, so let me do a quick sound check. Sun has gone a little bit long. Sound check. So we are good. So let me see. So yeah, let me just come back to my board. So human resource management, HRM. Another thing that, as I said, so subsequently use HRM, the HRM, but we'll always know that the HRM refers to human resource management, even if it's obvious, including the United States of America. Isn't it? Write the United States of America, capitalize U, S, and A, and then put in bracket USA. Okay? Did this and this. Then subsequently use USA. Don't write United States of America. Don't know what and what. So when you acronym something, make sure you've capitalized each word, and then you've put it in that bracket. Okay? And then, assuming that this abbreviation has a plural, so I'll assume. Let me just take another color here. Like we wanted to say human resource management. So here we'll have an S, isn't it? Nice management. So our abbreviation will be HRM with a capital, with a small s down there. Plurality, I don't know. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that one. So yeah, that is the thing. Human resource management. That way, blah 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 blah. Okay. So that was about this, and I'll show you a review report that has these mistakes that are too obvious. That's what I'm saying. If you proofread your work, everything is going to be easy for you. So, for zero issues, we've taken care of that. We won't limit everyone now. We want guys to work remotely as freelancers. Mm, let me see if I have something that I can remember. Yes, let me talk about language. So please, 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 dear writers, please use American English unless stated otherwise. And please use Times New Romans, size 12, double spaced, unless stated otherwise. Be sure that your paragraphs have an indent, okay? And the references are on another page, different page. Do not add, don't put references. And as I said, if it is one reference, use the word references. If there are two or more, use references. If it is one work cited, write work cited. If there are many, write works cited. Okay? So use American English unless stated otherwise. For Grammarly, there's a video that will show you how to change that language. Or if you don't know, you can ask me. Or you can even Google how to change language in Grammarly. But do not change because all those Grammarlies that I've supplied, they've been set to US language, default. So do not try to do things that you're not supposed to do there. Okay? And then orders, especially if you take an order that is for law, be sure that the law term that you're using is a US law term, okay? Because embezzlement in US is known as a misuse of trust in India. So embezzlement, just right here, misuse of trust in India. So if you write an order and you end up writing misuse of trust instead of embezzlement, a client can say that that is not what he applied for. So this one can easily be given an X. Let me just even put a red pen there. So know the right words to use unless stated otherwise. So vocabularies, especially for law, be careful. Quality concern, client assessors, viewers. Okay, then let me talk about these issues of using online paraphrasers, including one common guy known as a Quillbot. I know if you guys, some of you guys know what Quillbot is. So I have no issue with you guys. But do not end up using Quillbot because it is a software, and it is a robot. Even just from that word Quill. Quill, I think it's a pen. There's a pen known as Quill, isn't it? And then bot, of course, comes from the word robot. So if a robot helps you to do some writing or paraphrase to reduce plagiarism, be sure that that robot will not observe grammar and mechanics. So if you submit an order that has grammar and mechanics issues, and especially subject-verb agreement, tenses, I don't know, or it gives you a synonym that is not synonymous to what you mean, okay? Sometimes it can give you a synonym that does not even really. Have you ever gone to thesaurus and search for synonyms, and then you realize that a synonym of some word does not even relate directly to that word that you are looking for? That is what happens when you use Quillbot. So for me, I prefer you go to that site, read that content, and then write from your head. You'll have very little plagiarism instead of relying on this Quillbot. And Quillbot, I think people buy. Yeah, it's paid per month. It's paid per month. So why waste yourself? If you turn in, okay, let me talk about now advantages of turning in a paper in good time. If you turn in a paper in good time, number one, you will have enough time to proofread that paper. Okay, so you yourself you'll proofread. Number two, after you've proofread that paper, when you turn it, you're going to give reviewers a good time to review. And when reviewers have seen that there is no mistake in this paper, that the paper ratio is okay, the things that I'm going to check now is paper ratio. We are going to check plagiarism. Is plagiarism free? We are going to check no obvious mistake. No obvious mistake. You are going to check the length of sentences. We are going to check all those things. We'll check. We are going to check the length of sentences, and then we are going to check citations, because sometimes you can read a word, you can read when you proofread. By the way, you'll notice that I really feel like here I should put a citation, add citations. Okay, and I say the more references you have, the more your paper commands authority. Okay, yeah, you're going to check citations. You're also going to check grammar and mechanics, including tautology. Okay, so those things, grammar, mechanics, tautology, you check, you remove them. Okay, and then another advantage of turning in your paper early is of course, you can get another order immediately the other one has been submitted. So you can get more orders immediately the other one has been submitted. So those are the things. And one thing I'll tell you, as much as you're here to make money, do not work on an order when you're exhausted. Okay, so when you're exhausted, kindly do not work on an order, because your brain needs time to relax. Your brain needs, so work on that order when you are pretty fresh, and you'll even enjoy working on that order. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You will enjoy. And if you feel like you're exhausted, you can tell me, so that I should not assign any order to you and end up messing up. Don't want anyone to mess up. Okay. So don't mess up. Mm-hmm. So at this juncture, because work is too much on my side, I may not, or I may check your work. So I want your work, when you submit your work, it should come to me when it is customer ready. And for now, since you guys are still under new writer levels, it means that I'm prompted to check the work that you are submitting. But some of you are almost there, just 2 or 3 orders with no or minimal mistakes, and everything will be okay. So let's proofread your work. Always proofread your work. And I will insist, when I have any evidence that this work has not been proofread, I will term that work as incomplete, because I don't know whom you'll expect to proofread that work for you. So I'll term the work as incomplete, and I'll return it and tell you to proofread your work. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, uh, uh, and the thing is, you should be good in what you're doing and everything. And then, okay, other than that, let me just talk about something else. The good thing for me, when I talk, things just come, blah 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 blah. Now I got a good idea that has just come, that I've always been wanting to tell you. I'll talk about this issue of the guys who like this green, people who love this environment. No, this is not the green that I like. Told there's jungle green, there's whatever green. So I'm going to talk about the issue of consistency. Okay. So the issue of consistency, I'm going to talk about it. And what do I mean when I talk about consistency? Now, there's this concept of B2B. B2B, and you can write also B2B, and you can write also B2B. So this B2B, you realize that a writer can, in the first paragraph, the writer has used this. The second paragraph, the writers used this. The third paragraph, the writers used this. So this, you have to be consistent. You have to use one. More so, when you go to the other details, you'll see what the client is using. If in the other details the lecturer is using this one, just use this one. Or if you're not sure which one to use, you can make a simple Google search to see what's the difference and which one is the formal way to write it. Okay. Yeah. But when you decide using this one, use this one. Okay. Yeah. When you decide to use that, you use that one. Including there's another one. There's a certain name of a company that Southwest Airline. Southwest Airline. Okay. Airlines. Yeah. So I saw a writer writing Southwest Airline like this, and then the other paragraph they wrote it. Let me change the color. They wrote it Southwest Airline. Now it's even airline, not airlines. Okay, airline. And then the other paragraph they changed. In fact, they put a hyphen. Southwest like this. Airlines. So of course it's supposed to be airlines. So this one was wrong, and it does not have a hyphen because it's a company name. This one was wrong. So you be consistent with one. Okay. Another word that I'm seeing it's pretty confusing, guys. Is this word that is here. There's another word. This all right. I just put here versus all right. Which one do you think is the right one? Of course, this is very informal, okay? This is the right word. So just follow that one, okay? Just follow that one. And if you are in doubt, always make a point to Google. Because if you Google that all right versus all right, I think I even Googled it here. Let me see my results. It's this one here. People are often supposed to learn that all right is not accepted. Is not an accepted spelling of all right. Although the one word spelling is all right, seen in informal writings, teachers and editors will always consider it incorrect. So of course that one already is telling you that this all right, hii ingine. The other one is the one that is right. Okay, so not everything is all right. Then for possession, especially with words that end with an S, like if you say Alexis' father, isn't it? If you want to, the father of Alexis, and you want to show possession with you don't want to write the father of Alexis, you can write Alexis. Just put a hyphen. Okay, and all of us should stick to this convention. There's no need for you to come and put another S, although it's also right, but let's stick to one concept, because as I said, we want to be uniform throughout. So as I said, autonomous nervous system, autonomous ANS. As I said, first use, write it out, capitalize each word that will appear in this abbreviation, and then subsequently use the abbreviation ANS. And then citations, yeah, I had an order that was really funny. This order was really funny. Why? Because, and I'm talking about citation generators. Let me just touch something on this. Citation generators. The one that I've really liked for accuracy is one that is known as Scrib. Because this one you can easily check and do blah blah and do blah blah, do blah blah. There's another video if you want to talk. There's another video that in East Academia that talks about that Scrib. But one thing I'll tell you, you really have to be careful when using these citation generators. Okay. Yeah, you really have to be careful when using these citation generators, because the accuracy of your reference will definitely be determined by you, and you should not trust a computer to do that for you. Now, I had a situation whereby the citation did not match what was in the references. Okay, and how did I know this? I knew this because let me just open for you an order here. You know, sometimes you might think, how does Brian know these things? But it's easy. Just use this find button here. Let me see if I have an order. Mm, okay, value enhancing strategies. I'll just go with this one. So, like as I said, one update that we have right now, we won't be having this